Okay, everybody, I haven't worked on this in a bit. Here we go. After piercing holes through the cockatrice's skin, season it with salt and pepper. Then start making the honey mustard sauce. Mix the powdered mustard, soy sauce, honey, and lemon juice all together. Next, oil up a heated frying pan and Damn it, hold on. What the fuck is wrong with my dang thing? Hold on. A heated frying pan and start cooking the cockatrice meat starting from the skin side. Once the skin turns a light brown and is thoroughly cooked, flip it over and start cooking the other side. The fat will render out during cooking, so it's possible to make it less greasy by soaking the fat up with kitchen paper as it comes out. Once the meat is fully cooked, soak it in the honey mustard sauce and allow it to simmer a bit and mix with the flavor to finish it. Once the honey mustard flavor is soaked in, watch out for any jumping mustard powder. Letting the finished honey mustard powder sauteed chicken cool for a little while. Lightly toast the bread in the oven for a bit and wash some lettuce before tearing the leaves by hand into appropriate sizes. Layer the lettuce on the toasted bread and put the honey mustard sauteed chicken on top of that before sandwiching it with another piece of toasted bread. Cut the sandwich in half to complete the dish. You'll get to make a lot of those, dude. For Phil and the others' portions, I line them up on their new dishes. They're deep, but it shouldn't be a problem. Anton and the others' portions will be served on plates bought from Anton's family's Chevalier workshop. Of course, I made an extra large portion for Phil and the others. After that, I poured some orange juice into a glass pitcher. Thankfully, this house had utensils and other dinnerware in it. Among those was an actual glass pitcher, so I decided to make use of it. It seems a bit expensive, so I'll have to be careful when I use it, won't I? There was also a trolley, so I went ahead and used it to help bring the honey mustard sandwiches out into the living room. Sorry for keeping you waiting. I handed out the food to everybody. Phil and the others must have been really hungry because they started eating vigorously. Or rather, Phil just ate an entire half in a single bite. He's gonna ask for more right away, isn't he? Yep. Does anyone want something to drink? Please! Looks like they really took to the orange juice, huh? I poured more orange juice into all 5 of their mugs. So good! That first one who bit into the cockatrice honey mustard sandwiches and said that was Philip. Yesterday was good too, but this one is delicious, he said while vacuuming down the food. He's right, this is good. It's a little sweet and that's the best. Anton was wolfing down his food with just as much gusto. Yeah, it's delicious. It's a little sweet, but it's not just sweet. It's the first time I've had something that tasted like this, and I think it's great. Brigida was the one who said that, eating one bite after another in quick succession. Even though it has so many flavors like sweetness and spiciness and saltiness, it all comes together great. Yeah, this is amazingly good. Paul, the one who seemed to be the calmest among the 5 of them, was the one who said that while nodding and eating. This is super delicious. More. Livia, more already? You're fast. And all his other familiars said more. The order for more came from my 3 familiars too. Then please wait a moment. I cheerfully went back to the kitchen and made more. Woo, I sure ate. That was amazing. Yeah, it was great. It was delicious. I'm so full. With dinner done, I was relaxing in the living room with the 5 of them, me with iced coffee and they with orange juice in hand. It seemed like they were all satisfied with the meal. Phil and the others were apparently the same too. Phil was just plopped down on his side and Dora Chan was sleeping and reclining onto Phil. Sue was also sleeping, hang on. Hold on. And Sue was also sleeping stuck to Phil's side. I ate, but it ended up having to be while cooking for everyone else. Well, I'm the one that invited them, and I was happy that they said it was delicious, so I was fine with it. Are you guys going to take another request tomorrow? Yes, that's the plan. I talked it over with everyone, and this time we're just going to take it to heart that unexpected things can happen during missions. Anton was the one who answered. Even though all that happened just yesterday, they're already planning to take another request tomorrow, huh? F-rank adventurers sure work hard. For people like us, if we don't steadily take requests, we won't rank up at all, Philip complained. Yeah, we have to start building up our achievements, starting with what little we can manage. I want to become D-ranked quickly, after all, Brigida said. Was there something that happened to D-rank? Yeah, we want to get to D-rank quickly so we can get into dungeons, right? D-rank for dungeons. Is there some sort of connection between being D-ranked and dungeons, Paul? Yeah, right, I want to get into a dungeon already. Even Livia was saying that. What does D-rank have to do with dungeons? Does becoming D-ranked have something to do with dungeons? When I asked that, all 5 of them looked at me like they were asking, what are you talking about? What? You don't know? The Adventurers Guild recommends only D ranks and above go into dungeons, said Anton. What, really? I had no idea. Oh yeah, I was already C-ranked, kind of, by the time I got to Dolan. Nobody ever told me of something that basic, and I never bothered asking either. I mean, I wouldn't even know that was a thing, because, they never mentioned it to you guys. According to Anton, it was merely a recommendation, so it wasn't like those who weren't D-ranked couldn't enter. But entering at a low rank will probably just lead to dying a useless death. We're not that stupid, so we'll properly follow the guild's recommendation and wait until we're D-ranked to enter. We're going to take some training before entering as well. According to Anton, the Adventurers Guild hosted a class aimed for adventurers that were about to enter the dungeon for the first time. This was the first time I'd heard something like that, though. Actually, could it be that Dolan had that too? If they did, I would totally have taken it. Elren didn't say even a single word about that, though. Damn it, that stupid, useless, dragon-crazed elf. Speaking of dungeons, I heard a rumor recently. I just remembered. There's supposed to be an A-ranked adventurer arriving in Neof who cleared a dungeon, Paul said while looking at my face, realization dawning. Everyone who was listening to Paul immediately turned their gaze toward me. Is that true? Anton hesitantly asked. Kind of. The 5 of them all started making an excited fuss when I said that. They showered me with praise, saying things like, that's awesome, or it's so cool. Everyone's eyes seemed like they were sparkling when they looked at me. I felt a little guilty, so I told them the truth. No, I mean, it was all thanks to my familiars that we managed it. My familiars are really strong, so I just rely on them for my part. Of course that's the case. You're a tamer. Since your familiars are so strong, that means you're super skilled. And that means that as an adventurer, you're super skilled too. Respect. Anton exclaimed. All the others nodded in agreement. Huh? Really? Next they attacked me with a barrage of questions. How was the inside of the dungeon? What kind of enemies were there? What about the drops? And the traps? What was inside your treasure chests? I answered their questions, telling them of my experience in the dungeon. What? Whoa, it's already this late? Time moves fast and it was already dark. How about staying over, everyone? No, we need to be up early tomorrow so we'll go back home, right guys? Anton's right. Listening to you made me feel really motivated, Makoto. Me too, Philip. I really want to go into a dungeon already. I agree with Philip. I also want to go to the dungeon already. Paul, we need to get to D rank first. Let's all do our best. Livia was the last one to speak and brought everyone together, so they nodded in agreement. I see they were filled to bursting with motivation after hearing me talk about Dolan's dungeon. I see. Then be careful on the way back, everyone. Okay, thanks for everything today, Makoto. I should be thanking you for showing me around. Just like that, the 5 of them left. It seemed like they were all angling to go into a dungeon, so they asked a lot of questions. They talked really passionately, too, since dungeons were the source to getting rich quickly. The adventurer's dream. Though I didn't ask, they didn't even tell me about dungeons other than Dolan's. It was useless information to me, though I did see Fel with his eyes barely open listening, too. Or listening in. He'll probably make another fuss about dungeons. I bought a bunch of stuff yesterday, so what should I do today? As I was pondering that in the time after we had eaten breakfast, okay, we are going to a dungeon, Fel said, standing upright. What are you saying all of a sudden? Just because you heard all that talk about dungeons yesterday, isn't going right away too far? I heard that talk about dungeons yesterday. From what those whelps said, there is a dungeon about 10 days' walk from here, yes. The distance is nothing to me, so we can go immediately. No, don't be like, we can go to me. It's true that from what Anton said, there's a dungeon city named Aveling, south of Neof, but this and that are different. In the first place, the entire reason we're heading for Bearland is because Fel said he wanted to go to the ocean. But if you want to go to a dungeon, what about the ocean? Didn't you say that we needed to go there because krakens and sea serpents are delicious? Yes, you are right. But given the choice between the ocean and a dungeon, I chose the dungeon. Not only will you have to go to a dungeon, but you're going to have to level up because you're probably going to have to fight while you're there. Great! Because the gods and goddesses are going to be bugging you too about that too. Actually, they may not, considering you threatened to take away their allowance if they did, so they might not. What? What kind of nonsense are you spouting? Even though went all this way just because you said you wanted to go to the ocean, and I had plans too, you know. No, that's no good. You said we're going to the ocean, so we're doing as planned and going to Bearland. I want to go to the ocean and get ingredients too, you know. I want to do a seafood barbecue. More, seafood, huh? Now that you mention it, that certainly would be hard to give up on. Right? Greedy eaters like you shouldn't be saying no to good food. We need to taste our fill of the ocean's bounty. Okay, then, we will go to the dungeon after the ocean. Yes, that is what we will do. No, I already said we're not doing that. I'm not going to some dungeon. If I say I won't go, I won't go. Definitely not this time. Even though when I said no to Dolan, we went in the end anyway. Can't you just give it a rest with the dungeons? We already went to the one in Dolan just a while ago. Just let it be. We even went all the way and conquered it too. That's enough already. What are you saying? Dungeons are best for raising levels, you know, and more than anything, they are good exercise. It is 2 birds with 1 stone, no? What 2 birds with 1 stone? And I'm still not going. I think you are the only one who would say that. Hey, Dora, Sui, do you 2 want to go to a dungeon? What? You're going to involve Dora, Chan, and Sui now? That's not fair. Dungeon, of course I want to... Yeah, they're going to say they want to go, especially Sui wants to go pew-pew. She would. He would. Whatever. Sui also wants to go to a dungeon. Yes, right? Is that not the best? Hey, Dora and Sui are both saying so. Oh, that's what that smug face is. Cheating to involve Dora, Chan, and Sui. No way, I'm not going. What? Let's just go to a dungeon. Wasn't the last dungeon fun? Super fun? I want to go again. It was not super fun for him. Might have been fun for y'all, but not for him. The fuck? Somehow I get a message on my watch. It has never done that before. Okay, never mind. Dora-chan, don't say things like dungeons are fun. Adventurers risk their lives every day to go down there. Sui also wants to go to a dungeon again, and then beat lots of them like pew-pew, you know? Sui said while bouncing around. Fell. That bastard's got Dora-chan and Sui completely on his side. Master, please! Sui wants to go to a dungeon again! Sui... And I fall. Like, there's no way I can say no if Sui asks like that. Oh, you are... Sui's got you wrapped around its little, tentacle, essentially. I was gonna say finger, but it doesn't really have fingers, so... Fine, let's go. I couldn't win against Sui asking me. I see. Oh, we can go to a dungeon. Yes! Dungeon, yay! All 3 of them were celebrating loudly. Another human town with a dungeon. I am truly looking forward to it. Yeah, what kind of monsters will appear this time? Well, it won't stand a chance against us. Us, though, I'm so excited. Sui is also excited. Sui will go pew-pew and beat so many of them. Everyone's already raring to go into a dungeon, but we won't go right away. We're not going right away, everyone. Just like we planned, we're going to the seaside town of Beerland first, after we're done here. Then we can go. Let us go immediately, Fel replied. Of course I refused. You know I rented this house for a week. Leaving in the middle is just wasteful. We're leaving the day after tomorrow. I already rented it for a week, so we're going to use it for the full week time since you don't get that many chances to live in a place like this. And I still want to enjoy the bath here. Still, now my plans for today were decided. I was wondering about what I should do, but now that we're definitely leaving the day after tomorrow, then I really would have to start concentrating on preparing food. Yeah, especially if you're having to go traveling again and I'm dealing with a stupid dungeon. After all of that, I holed up in the kitchen and started cooking all the food we need for the trip. I spent the whole day cooking things like the usual fried stuff like karage, pork, chicken, and hamburger cutlets, hamburg steaks, stuff pickled in miso, vegetable stir-fry, and minced meat with soy sauce, among other dishes. While I was doing that, Fel and the others barged in saying they were hungry, but I managed to cook up all I needed for the trip. However, my stock of meat lightened considerably. I only had about a fourth of the bloody hornbull and wyvern meat I used to. It'll probably be more than enough to make it to Beerland, but at this rate, I'd have to get lots of seafood and meat there. You better. Chapter 2, The Strategy to Destroy the Orc Settlement. We had come to the Adventurers Guild in order to accept a quest. Just saying, but I wonder how long it's been since we took a request that we chose instead of something the guild handed us. Today was supposed to be our last day in this town, and I had really just wanted to laze around the house, but Fel kept complaining that it was boring. Dora-chan and Sui both said that they wanted to go outside, and that turned into talk that we might as well accept a quest then. I was an adventurer after all, at least formally. That was why we were staring at the board, but there's not really anything here. Yeah, I got the stupid message. Yeah. Since I was technically A rank, the only requests I could take were A or S rank requests, but the requests posted on this board only extended up to B rank in the first place. Guess that means I have to ask at the counter. Excuse me, I'd like to take a request. When I led with that and showed my guild card, the receptionist left her seat after saying, please wait. Oh, you're calling Yorin over? I only came to take on a request, so it's not like you have to. After a while, Yorin came over. Oh, with good timing. Something slightly troubling just happened, and it's been hard trying to gather good adventurers. I was starting to think that it would just be faster to ask you. According to Yorin, orcs have started to periodically show up around the village to the north of here and along the road as well, and since their numbers out in the wild were always assumed to be high, it was suspected that they may have established an orc settlement nearby. So Yorin put out a request to investigate the forest around the northern village and the road. The party that took on that request returned early this morning, and from the report, the existence of an orc settlement in the forest bordering the road and village came to light. According to the report made by the investigating party, they were confirmed to be orc leaders and generals. They couldn't verify the existence of an orc king, but from the size of the settlement, it should only be a matter of time until one appeared, if it hadn't already. The settlement was close to the village and road too, so it needed to be taken care of as soon as possible, but that kind of request would only require adventurers of C rank or higher. And from their numbers, it would have to be a 5 or 6 member party at the very least. However, in a bout of unfortunate timing, almost all the C-rank members and above were currently out on quests. Of course. Thanks to you taking on the request for the evil plants and the Cyclops, the workshops have gone back to normal working order. Up until now, we've had some problems exporting our goods, but now that it's all fixed, we've gotten more escort requests to other towns. Oh, so that's what happened to all the C-rank and above parties. Are out on escort missions, huh? It's not my fault, but I can't really say that I'm completely uninvolved, can I? I somehow managed to scare up a single C-rank party that hadn't left, but just one party is... For Yorin, it seemed like the only options he had were either to wait for some of the parties to return or ask me. The only problem was, who knows how many days it would take for someone to come back, so Yorin was concerned about leaving the orcs to roam freely. If an orc king were to be born in that time, not only would a 5 or 6 man party not be enough, there would be a need for at least 2 B-ranked parties. So in that case, he started thinking it would just be faster to ask me. Sorry for asking, Makoto, but would you take on this quest? Please wait a second. Fel, what do you think? Personally, I think it's fine since it's a good chance to get some meat. An orc settlement, they are boring enemies, but just as you said, it's true that they will be a good source of meat. Okay, let's go. Oh, looks like Fel's giving the all green. Dora-chan, Sui, are both of you fine too? I asked the 2 of them through telepathy. I'm fine with it too. Sui is also fine. Looks like they're on board as well. We'll take it, Yorin. Oh, I see, thank you. Alrighty, then you'll be going with the S-rank party I managed to hire as well. Is that fine? Yes, that's fine. So we're going to be taking this orc settlement destruction quest with a C-ranked party. This is our first time taking a request with another party, huh? Well, this will be an experience too. Righty-ho, I'll introduce you to please follow me. The room Yorin led us to was a meeting room on the guild's first floor. There, a group of 4 male adventurers that looked around 30 and looked really tough with scary faces were sitting and waiting. Yeah, can I run now? What the hell is with this lineup that just reeks of dudes? Everyone's ripped to the max on top of those scary faces. Heyo, sorry for keeping you waiting. So, Guildmaster, what's going on with the request? The bald one with the scary face who seemed to be their leader spoke. Yes, I'll be talking about that now. With those words, Yorin moved to introduce me and those rough-looking, scary adventurers to each other. It's an honor to be taking on a request with an A-ranked adventurer. Please treat us well. With those words, the leader, Alonzo, went to shake my hand. Pleased to meet you. Greeting the other members as well, I shook their hands. They were a unique bunch with scary faces and they reeked like a locker room, but it didn't seem like they were bad people. Truthfully, I would have liked to have teamed up with some female adventurers, but it wasn't like I could just say that. Oh god, guy, really? Those 4 tough and scary-looking adventurers were all members of the C-ranked party, Shadow Warrior. I don't know why, but all the people here sure do like to use some really cringy names. I've been letting it all go until now, though. It seems like personal taste, so I guess I should just not bother. The scary-faced bald leader, Alonzo, was a swordsman, a user of light, large swords. Clement was a scary-faced dude with long, wavy, dark brown hair, and he was also a swordsman, though a one-handed sword user. Matthias was a scary-faced guy with short blonde hair, and since he was a scout, he used daggers. Ernest, a scary-faced one with red-brown short hair, was a mage and was accomplished in fire and wind magic, as well as a little healing magic. I heard the rumors, but you really did tame a Fenrir, said Alonzo while looking at Fel. He can tell because it's a C-ranked, huh? Also, it seems that Fel has recently started becoming more known. Well, we did defeat the dungeon in Dolan. Fel is strong, of course, but the pixie dragon here named Dorcha and the slime named Sui are also my familiars. They're all strong. I'd never heard of a pixie dragon, and the slime is strong? Sui is special, you know. It's strong. As for how they fight, look forward to when we get to the orc settlement. All of them are strong after all. Sui gets underestimated since it's just slime, but you can't lump it in with other slimes. Sui is really just that incredible. Well then, let's get going. Yorin, about where is the orc settlement? It is in the forest about a day's walk from here. What? A day? A day? But we're planning on leaving tomorrow. Ah, no, it's fine. We can finish it today. For moving around with large amounts of people, I have the ever-reliable Sui with me. What do you mean? I told Yorin and the members of Shadow Warrior about Sui, but none of them believed me. Then all I have to do is show them, I thought, as we all headed for the gates. Okay then, Sui, can you get big enough to fit these four on? Let's see, about as big as you were the last time. Got it. With that said, Sui grew to the same size it was when it gave Anton and the others a ride before. Seeing that, both Yorin and the members of Shadow Warrior were dumbstruck. What an amazing thing! This slime's a first! Both Yorin and Alonzo's statements had the other members of Shadow Warrior nodding in wordless agreement. We're planning to leave here tomorrow, so this request needs to be completed today. Now, everyone get on. I hurried the members of Shadow Warrior along and had them get on top of Sui. I was riding on top of Fel like always. Okay then, Yorin, we'll be off now. We're counting on you. Just like that, we headed off to the orc settlement. There it is. I heard one of the Shadow Warrior's members whisper. We were hidden behind a tree peeking out over the orc settlement. Thanks to Sui, it didn't take that long to get to the forest. And once we entered, thanks to Fel's guidance, we found the orc settlement easily. The entire Shadow Warrior party was surprised at how fast we moved, but we needed to do this as quickly as possible. I wanted to be finished by the end of today, after all. With the orc settlement in front of us, all that was left was to wipe them out. The settlement was in a small clearing in the forest. I could see the shabby huts that were probably built by the orcs. Fel, do you know how many there are? I whispered to Fel so we wouldn't be noticed. At most 200. 200? That's quite a lot. Is there an orc king? No. There are evolved forms, but I do not feel anything as strong as that. I guess that means that's just as I heard from Yorin, that only orc leaders and orc generals. What kind of plan are we going with? Asked Alonzo, and the other members of his party also looked towards me. Well, it's not really a plan. Fel, it's just going to be the usual, right? Indeed. First strike wins. Attack is the best defense. Dora-chan, Sui, and I will finish them. You all make sure no orcs manage to escape. Yep, it'll be like that, wouldn't it? That's how it is. It's fine to just leave it up to my familiars. Just watch out for any orcs that try to run. When I said that, the members of Shadow Warrior all looked sort of confused, as if they were wondering if it would really be alright to just do that. Well then, let us move. Dora, Sui, on me. Yahoo! I've been waiting! Sui would try hard. And just like that, all three of them merrily flew off. And from then on, how should I describe it? Well, there was no way my children would have any trouble with orcs, right? The death cries of a large number of orcs could be heard. Oh, that must be Fel's earth magic. Needles sprang up from the ground in a wide area like a spiky frog, used in flower arrangements, skewering the orcs. The spell alone almost had the number of orcs. What the hell? I heard someone whisper. I looked beside me and saw the members of Shadow Warrior all with their mouths open in shock as they watched what was happening in the orc settlement. You can't afford to use up all of your awe on just this, you know. Since Dora-chan and Sui are both going to start attacking afterwards too. And this time sharp pointed pillars of ice appeared and rained down upon the orcs, piercing them through. This has got to be Dora-chan's ice magic. And now there was only a fourth of the orcs there used to be. So if there was around 200, so that means that there's around 50 orcs left, give or take. And Sui's acid bullets hit the orcs every time it pierced through them. Almost all the remaining orcs fell victim to that attack. What the hell are those things? An entire orc settlement. This fast? No way. Those familiars are way too strong. Oh yeah, dude, what did you expect? He's A rank for a reason. I'm surprised he's not S rank at this point. The people of Shadow Warrior were all quietly muttering amongst themselves while watching Fel and the others fight. Yeah, I know how you feel, but it's all real. My children are all strong. I noticed that the orcs that were on the outskirts of the settlement and thus had managed to not get hit by their attacks were running. Not only that, but they were coming this way. The orcs that are running from the settlement are coming this way, I called out, and the members of Shadow Warrior all came to with a start and readied their weapons. I took out my mithril short sword from my item box and readied it as well. I've already taken down trolls and minotaurs in the dungeon, and orcs are weaker than that, so I should be fine as long as I calm down and fight. Okay, they're here. Ha! I slashed at one of the running orc's legs. Once it flinched, stab. I thrust it into its heart. Yeah. Whoa. The moment I let my guard down because I defeated the orc, I was blown away from the side and hit a tree. That hurts. The orc glared at me angrily. Oh, you've done it now, you damn orc. Stone bullet. Okay, stone bullet, stone bullet. I shot stone bullets at the orcs that sent me flying. Rocks around 5 centimeters in size hit the orc, and the orc fell to its knees, crying out in pain. Without missing a beat, I closed in on the orc and lopped off its head with my mithril sword. The orc's head fell to the ground with a thud. Whew. Looking around, I noticed that the people in Shadow Warrior managed to take down another 2 or 3 orcs. Are there any left? No, all the orcs that ran are here, said Alonzo. Well, then let's head for the settlement. What about those orcs? I have an item box, so for now, I'll just stuff them in. Let's decide what to do with them later. Leaving how to divide the spoils for later, I collected all the orcs and we headed towards Fel and the others. When we reached the orc settlement, I saw countless orc corpses scattered around, and among them stood my 3 familiars. Yeah, that's amazing. They're all ridiculously strong. The members of Shadow Warrior were all looking around at the huge amounts of dead orcs with cramped looks on their faces. What a sight. Yeah, they completely wiped out an entire orc settlement so quickly. Normally there'd be some casualties among adventurers when destroying an orc settlement, right? Yeah, and not only are we all fine, but we're already done. Sorry, but this is just normal for us. Yeah. Okay, then I'll be storing all the orcs around here then. Ignoring the dumbstruck members of Shadow Warrior. I'm thinking Shadowheart for some reason, I don't know why. I started retrieving the orcs with my familiar's help. Woo, it's finally done. By the time I finished retrieving the orcs, the members of Shadow Warrior had collected themselves and were breaking down the huts that the orcs had built before burning them. When I asked Alonzo why, apparently doing so was a rule that was set in stone for those kinds of situations. If we leave it as is, it'll just get used again by orcs or goblins. I see. Luckily this time there weren't any victims, but if there were, the rule would be to burn their bodies too. So it really does happen, huh? Well, it does make sense. I had heard that there was no female orcs or goblins, so they had to populate and grow ranks by using other animals, monsters, and people. Oh, yeah, that. Orcs and goblins all had very strong sexual desire and especially liked human women, it seemed. Oh, God. Don't give me a fucking Goblin Slayer reference! Oh, my God, I hate that! With that in mind, it would make sense for there to be victims in the area, wouldn't it? I don't know if I'd be able to stay calm in those situations, but I might just have to accept that this sort of thing happens. So about burning the bodies of victims, do you not hand them over to their families? No, the victim wouldn't want to be seen like that, and the victim's family wouldn't want to see the victim like that either. So it's become an unspoken agreement. I see. Being taken by orcs or goblins is nothing other than a nightmare for the victim and the victim's family, huh? Also, you can't rule out the possibility of them becoming undead, so burning them is the rule, added Clement. Undead? How would they become undead? Is that just like a virus type thing, or is that just a random chance that it could happen? They do exist, don't they? Zombies? When I asked, it seemed that they were rare, but they did exist. I was also told that for dungeons, there were floors that had only those sorts of monsters in them as well. Ugh. I can only hope that the dungeon in Aveling doesn't have a floor like that. Wait, that's only if they're dead, right? What if they're still alive? What if the victim's still alive? When I asked, the members of Shadow Warrior all looked at each other with sober expressions. That would be the worst thing that could happen. Do you think you could stay sane after being played around by orcs or goblins? Yeah, no, not really. Almost every time they'll either just commit suicide right then and there, or they'll have lost their sanity and be sent to be cared for in a temple. If they're alive, we'll take them back. But whether that's a good or bad thing is up in the air. Apparently the temples had a place where they would take in those with mental illnesses or those who had lost their limbs and can no longer live on their own. It makes me wonder, what would they do if the woman was still alive and they found out later that she was pregnant? What would they do then? I wonder if this is mentioned. There weren't many of them, but it seemed that there were places like that in this world, too. Apparently the members of Shadow Warrior had to deal with that sort of situation once, after dominating a nest of goblins. Or decimating a nest of goblins. The victim was a girl still in her mid-teens, but by the time she was found, she'd already lost her mind. The girl was sent to be cared for, and apparently they'd heard rumors that she was still convalescing even now. That's why adventurers like us have to put out our bodies on the line to actively hunt trash like this in order to prevent there being any more victims, said Matthias. That's the problem. Orcs and goblins are like weeds. They come back real fast. We always make sure to hunt them if we see them. Ernest followed up on Matthias' statement. All the adventurers and Shadow Warrior looked scary, but they were pretty stalwart too. I'd only thought of adventurers as people who hunt monsters as to sell off their materials for money or dive into dungeons for drop items and loot, but I changed my mind after hearing them talk. Truthfully, I'd hate to even look at goblins, but let's start hunting them if we see any. Orcs too. It'd be nice if there'd be less victims thanks to us doing that. Yeah, have Fel and the others do that, please. Once the huts burned out, we left the former site of the orc settlement behind. What time was it? 10:39. We got out of the forest and were on the road. All that was left was to go home. Since destroying the orc settlement was so quick, there was still time until sunset. Okay, then let's go home. Wait a second, Fel butted in. What, Fel? I am hungry. Me too. Suey too. Oh yeah, it's past noon. Sorry, Fel and the others are saying they're hungry. Want to eat? I called out to the members of Shadow Warrior. Now that you mention it, we haven't eaten. Right then, let's have a meal. We all sat wherever we wished along the side of the road. All four of the Shadow Warrior members retrieved a black bread and dried meat from their bags on their backs. It wasn't my place to say anything, but it didn't look very appetizing. Okay, we're comrades who accepted the same request, so let's share some food. Would you like to try the food I made? I think it's better than dried meat. Are you sure? Yes, since we're comrades who take the same request, please wait a little. What should I make? Bread would be better than rice, right? So that's the case. Yeah, let's go with that. I still have lots of black bread that I bought from Dolan, so I used that. First, let's take the round black bread and cut it horizontally into two halves. Layer a bed of shredded cabbage on the bottom half and lay the hamburger on top of it and lots of ketchup before closing it with the other half to finish up the burger. Each of them should get 2 each, I think. They'd probably eat that much with their bills. And 5 each of my 3 familiars. I'm fine with 1. Here you go. I put the hamburgers on a plate and served them out to everyone. My 3 familiars started chowing down as usual. Looking at them go, the members of Shadow Warrior also bit into their hamburgers. It's delicious. What is this? This is the first time I've eaten something this good. Alonzo said before stuffing his cheeks full of hamburger. So tasty. This sauce on the meat is great. Clement said, taking bite after bite of the food. Yeah, this sauce has acidity and also a little sweetness. It's thick too and delicious. It was a good thing we took this request since we got to eat this. Matthias followed up and took a huge bite out of his hamburger. To be fair, it was better that you took this request anyway to get rid of the orc settlement, because you know what you just found out, but yeah, the food's good too. Ernest was just silently munching away his food, too preoccupied with enjoying it. Looks like they all like it. That's great. More. And then came Fel and Suey's orders for more. It looked like Dora Chan was already full. Black bread's got some bite back to it after all. I served Fel and Suey their extra servings and started eating myself. Yeah, the black bread is hard, but it works. There's no mistaking this for anything but a hamburger. Hamburgers are delicious. I completely agree on that. I would rather have a hamburger over a steak any day. But then again, I don't like steak because I'm weird. My dad thought it was weird. He always asked why I would eat a hamburger but not a steak. And I'm like, it just doesn't taste the same. It's made from the same animal, but it's still different. It seemed like the adventurers of Shadow Warrior weren't satisfied with just 2, so I gave them each another one. Fel and Suey were both satisfied after several more helpings. Oh yeah, you said you were going to leave this town tomorrow, Makoto. Do you have any plans? While we were taking a short break to digest, Matthias asked me that question. Yes, Fel wants to go to the sea, so we're heading for Bearland. It's on the coast, so we'll be able to eat fresh seafood. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, Bearland, huh? We went last year ourselves. The fresh fish there was just the best, wasn't it? But there was a certain someone who couldn't enjoy it. Matthias said, laughing. Yeah, Matthias, Ernest and I all had our fill of the food in Beerland, but Alonzo, he hates fish, so he wouldn't shut up about going to a different town already. Even though we were busy enjoying ourselves, you don't get that many chances to eat fresh fish, you know. Clement said, looking over at Alonzo with an exasperated expression on his face. Alonzo hates fish. Right. Even though Beerland's famous for being on the coast, all Alonzo ate was meat. Not only that, but the people in the stores and such all had faces like they wanted to ask, if you're not going to eat fish in a town by the sea, why did you even come? That was funny. Ernest said, laughing loudly. Fish and stuff just smells. I can't stand it. Personally, I don't want anything to do with any place by the sea anymore. It's got to be meat for food, you know. Alonzo complained, but fish is delicious, though. Only time I'll ever eat fish is when it's like a fried fish fillet, because that's how I like it, with tartar sauce, obviously, but I kind of had to agree with Alonzo that fish isn't too good. I will eat shrimp, but it would have to be fried shrimp. I'm not a fan of regular cooked shrimp. Actually, no. I take that back. I'm not a fan of raw shrimp. Like, you know, the one that you get with the tray of it with the cocktail sauce. That kind of thing. But I will eat it. I might eat it if it's cooked with a good seasoning. But other than that, So if you're going to Beerland, you have to go see the morning market near the port. Not only can you get fresh fish that for cheap, there's also lots of food stalls around too. I'd recommend it, Matthias said. The morning market, huh? He taught me something good. With both cheap, fresh seafood and food stalls around, it's a must-see. Hey, that fish, the one that Beerland's famous for, was that delicious too, right? What was its name? Ernest said, trying to remember. He kept muttering, that one, right? That one. Tyrant fish, right? Matthias stepped in to help, and Ernest slapped his knees while saying, yeah, that! If I remember correctly, that's a kind of monster, right? It looks ferocious, but its white meat is light and delicious, Ernest said, nodding. He must have been remembering the taste of the fish. It's something that only those wild fishermen of Beerland can catch, so it's that town's specialty. Makoto, if you ever go there, you definitely have to try some. It's really good. Clement recommended to me. Tyrant fish, huh? I remember it. Also that shellfish. Was it called Big Hard Clam? Those are great in soup. I inquired further, and big hard clams were apparently a bivalve that was about the size of my palm. I wondered if it's like an Asian hard clam. Using it in Japanese-style soup seems like it would lend its flavor to the dish. Dashi. That sounds delicious. It might also be tasty cooked with just a little soy sauce on it. That'd be perfect for some seafood barbecue. I feel like I'm about to start drooling. Since I've been eating so much meat due to Fel and the others, I had a craving for seafood. I've got to go to Beerland and have my fill with the bounty of the sea. Talking with Makoto about Beerland is making me want to go again. Yeah, I want to go eat some seafood. Yeah, me too. Clement and Matthias and Ernest each chimed in, and Alonzo quickly objected. Don't joke about that. I won't go to the sea, got it? Weren't we going to Aveling next? Looks like Alonzo's quite bad with seafood, huh? Don't get so mad, Alonzo. We just said we want to eat seafood. Don't worry, we're going to Aveling after this. Yeah, it'll be the first dive in a while for us. I'm getting excited. Right? We're planning to stay for a while, too, so let's earn a whole lot. Oh, they're all planning on going to Aveling after this. So are you all going from Neof to Aveling? Yeah, we're staying in Neof for another 4 or 5 days and then going, replied Alonzo. That's a coincidence. We're also planning to go to Aveling after we're done with Beerland. Oh, is that right? This time we're going to plant ourselves there and really challenge the dungeon, so we're planning on staying for a while. We might meet again in Aveling. When Clement said that, Matthias followed up with, it does happen in dungeons, doesn't it? Just randomly reuniting with people? Reuniting in a dungeon, it might happen. To tell you the truth, I talked about how I met the adventuring party Iron Will again in Dolan's dungeon. The members of Shadow Warrior had apparently challenged the dungeon in Aveling before, and I managed to learn a lot about it. With this and that, the mood became excited with the subject of dungeons, and before I noticed, a large span of time had passed. Even though we finished eradicating the orc settlement quickly, we were running out of time. Okay, then it's about time to go back. We returned the same way we went, with all the members of Shadow Warrior riding on the back of a giganto-sized Sui. Okay, let's keep going. Oops, damn it! I didn't mean to click that. That's my coding software. When I entered the Adventurers Guild, along with the members of Shadow Warrior, Yoren the Guildmaster came over immediately. Oh, is it already done? Yes, we completely decimated it, although we basically did none of the work, Alonzo said, giving a bitter laugh. Fel and the others basically killed everything on their own after all. I want to sell the bodies, but there's a lot. None of the adventurers and Shadow Warrior had an item box, so they all asked to sell the parts. Personally, I'd like to get the meat for however many they manage to finish, but butchering by tomorrow. I see, then let's head for the storehouse. We followed Yora to the storehouse. Oh, what is it today? Horace asked as we entered the storehouse. It seemed like in a bout of good timing, he just finished his work and was currently free. Is it alright to go with what we discussed before, Alonzo? Everyone? While we were returning to town, the members of Shadow Warrior and I discussed how to split the reward and the money from selling off the orcs. Yeah, it's fine. Right, guys? Alonzo asked, throwing the question to his comrades. Yeah, of course, we might even be getting too much. If we were to complain about this, we'd meet divine punishment seriously, right? Said Clement, but Matthias and Ernest respectfully. How many orcs can you butcher by tomorrow morning? I asked Horace. If I did my best, 15, I think, he replied. Then I'll ask you to take care of 15 of them, but I'd like all the meat returned to me, but for everything else, to sell it and give the money to these nice people and Shadow Warrior. That's how we decided to split it. I told them while taking the 15 orcs from my item box. So the meat to you, Makoto, and the money for the sale of everything else is to the fine folks in Shadow Warrior. Got it, Horace said, already inspecting the 15 orc corpses I handed over. This is what Shadow Warrior and I decided when we talked about it. First, I wanted meat so I would get them to butcher as many orcs as they could by tomorrow morning. For those, I would get the meat, and the money for the sale of everything else would go to Shadow Warrior. As for the rest of the orcs, I tried to split them 50-50 with Shadow Warrior, but they pushed back, saying they couldn't take it. We can't take that. We barely did any work, all 4 of them replied. So in the end, I took 2/3 of the orcs, and they got the rest of them. Even so, the people in Shadow Warrior still protested that they were getting too much. Really, though, all the money I'd earned was thanks to Fel, and it was enough that I'd never be able to spend it all anyway. Meat was more important to us at the moment, too. And even turning them into meat, there were too many orcs, so that's why I dealt them their share like that. Are you all planning to sell off your 1/3 share here? Yeah, none of us have any item box, and we don't have a magic bag either. Even though they were already only getting 1/3 of the orcs, it was still a considerable amount, and the members of Shadow Warrior didn't have any way to preserve them. And as they were planning to sell it all right away to the Neoth Adventurers Guild. That's how it is, so it'll be quite a lot to them, but can I take them out here, Horace? So Shadow Warrior is planning to sell their share to us here. Yeah, please. Led by Horace, I left the orcs in an open space in the storehouse. This time, the total tally of what we got from the orc settlement extermination was 6 times orc generals, 6 orc generals, 18 orc leaders, I'm dumb, and 179 orcs. From those, leaving aside the 15 I already gave over, 1/3 of me 2 orc generals, 6 orc leaders, and 54 orcs for Shadow Warrior's share, while the rest was mine. This is Shadow Warrior's share. 2 orc generals, 6 orc leaders, and 54 orcs. Please count them up, Alonzo. I already did while you were taking them out, Makoto. You're fine. Yeah, we did too, so there's no mistake. Looks like I wasn't mistaken there. We plan to stay in Neoth another 4 or 5 days, so prioritize what you're giving to Makoto, said Alonzo, who had turned to face Horace. Got it. Well, then I'll ensure I can hand over the meat to you tomorrow morning, Makoto, so come by to pick it up. Understood. So I'll need to swing by and pick up the meat before we leave tomorrow, huh? Have you finished your sale, Yoran asked, proving that he'd been waiting for us to finish. Since Makoto is leaving tomorrow, why don't I pay your reward now? Okay then, the reward for this time is 180 gold. Since Shadow Warrior is here, I've prepared the sum in gold coins. Is that fine? Since Shadow Warrior is here, too, it's true that gold coins might be better. Yes, that's fine, right everyone? Isn't it normally gold coins? Matthias is puzzled. Just being paid in gold coins was too heavy, so up until now, I've been paid in large gold coins. The members of Shadow Warrior were all surprised and told us in unison, wow, A ranks really are different. Okie dokie then, here. Yoran said, placing a bag of gold coins in front of me. Alright then, 1/3 of 180 gold is 60 gold, so that's Shadow Warrior's share. I counted 60 gold out of the bag and handed it over to Alonzo. I feel kind of guilty about this. We basically did nothing, but we're getting all this stuff. No, if you're going to put it like that, I also did basically nothing, right? Or rather, that's how it usually is. Fel and the others are strong after all, I said, looking over to Fel, who was sleeping in a corner of the storehouse. Yeah, that strength is like cheating. Yeah, it is. But Well, I guess that should be expected of a Fenrir. It's not just the Fenrir, Alonzo. The small dragon was also strong. If you're gonna say that, Clement, then the slime was really strong too. I never thought that slimes were that strong. Alonzo, Clement, and Matthias spoke amongst themselves. Basically, all of Makoto's familiars are strong, right? Ernest said. Alonzo, Clement, and Matthias all replied with no doubt. Well, then we're gonna be leaving here early tomorrow, so I'll be taking my leave now. Sure, we'll be in Aveling for a while before you. Yes, please teach me a lot when you meet each other again in Aveling. Like that, I said goodbye to the work members of Shadow Warrior and left the Adventurers Guild. Okay, I think I'm going to end this one off here. I'll see you guys in the next one.